Let's show you something, guys. Make make what we think is probably yes. I act yes. I act they all shortly into the so expecting upon to next Monday, right? You expecting upon to next Monday, right? If that's we previous week we understood discussing about ICT and it light out previous week we understood discussing about ICT and it light out hope that start I guess literally hope that start I guess literally where why the market successfully why the market successfully that that in that or the that's gone above this particular was released in that or the that's gone above this particular was released, right? So it's Monday because now you could see that went for this expecting the market, then after much mark, expecting the market, then after much mark, right? So what followed and why right? See that the market yeah. And I'll talk that we've gone by the way, this that yeah. And I'll talk that we've gone by the way, these 322 days, many days into live session, I'm gonna probably encourage you to try it, maybe YouTube channel. And so you have the Rifco coin and what we so you have the Rifco coin and what we from the bearish market 380 from the bearish market 380 days, like the average should be somewhere around 360 375, which implies that, and if that's the case, Deshaun, for instance, if you come to the two bit month terribly high over 2022 we just but again areas because if you again there is a final difference of dips which because if you again there is a final difference of dips which is false. I don't want to go into okay when it is false. I don't want to go into okay when you bearish markets. So I think the one was about a market dip into about 15,000 dips, 77.8 something of 84% found an exponential a punk 84%, 87%, 24% found an exponential a punk 84%, 87% 2018, 84%, 87% 2018, 6. And so 2018, 6. And so when we add those stories right now, this is it. Essentially, when we add those stories right now, this is it. Essentially, deep from the Bitcoin altar, deep from the Bitcoin altar, possibly, price targets for about create a okay. So that's these for Bitcoin. City analysis and no, you add camera if you don't mind, guys. Clear it now. Indicating with camera if you don't mind, guys. Clear it now. Indicating with probe likelihood of the truth is going to go above. I wouldn't expect for the past 4 weeks. So I don't know. Wouldn't you think so low? Not like a perfect low, but the weekly forecasts, if you those kind of where the market is really into this strong demand level, and those kind of where the market is really into this strong demand level, and beyond this 60 on this particular week, there are market news. I would explain where this market 60 on this particular week. There are market news. I would explain where this market. So, which of course began during New York session and the continuation in the the continuation in the during the Tokyo session and then continued in the New York session. It began in the right. So is population. So that trade last week for population. So that trade last week for almost all the just minutes or hours into the new day will almost be like the defined forecasting. I'm forecasting sell around this point, sell around that point, as I think local is that's alright, a distribution. So every all said and done, not bullish or bearish. I knew the market was going to probably buy, and we were not So my forecast for the week section, what you think? The fact that what is planning to retest a fair value. Yeah. Penalized for Thursday that Shelly. So if that's the case, relation began all through Tokyo session for today. So yeah, tomorrow also, but then that's a good right back to looking. I've just got on my thinking. If you have some Bitcoin rising to 64, like I'm literally saying Bitcoin is not going to smash 65k, but then I could be wrong, right? Right. So which is one thing about analysis. It might get my perfect point of is so which is one thing about analysis. It might get my perfect point of is set to a new 1,000 level 65k, and I think that's probably my thought anyways. I could also be very much wrong, but then I'm thinking, I'm thinking, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I'm thinking might just not happen, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What just happened to the network right now? I want to Apollo network is going to probably pick up again. The network needs to really pick up right now. I think it's back up. We are forecasting and making a, I'm saying support level session. To catch some breath, take some water, and that took longer than usual. All right, so our analysis for Bitcoin literally mirrors what we expect, to which Bitcoin from Solana's. Just look right here, this almost, but an accumulation Monday, like today. What do you think happened here? So price better, but you could say overall manipulation was just perfectly played within myself and tell myself nothing of its consistency with price charts. I mean, this is just ways. I would love to know what you all think. 8.2 and right, yeah, I think days or week, just about with my course of a push followed by week of what we have. And so again for that buttress, will that be say I want to quickly pin the index for Ethereum, right? Even though it's essence we're saying, right, even though it's essence we're saying the market on Ethereum on a weekly time frame using isolationist of a market. I'm sorry for using that warp in that weekly time frame using isolationist of a market. I'm sorry for using that warp in that tab. So we could see that there's a upper especially for the consolidation. And what does this imply? There's a upper especially for the consolidation. And what does this imply? It has to push above that high of 1,981.25. It is at the high of 1,981.25. It is at the market seem to buy. If you're going to buy, it had that momentum to sell. That's the truth. So I'm going to probably mark out some liquidity key point on Ethereum. One, this is a liquidity key point. You could call it a liquidity trap or a liquidity pool. Some people call it inducement. I mean, just you understand what it is you're trying to call it, and don't let your nomenclature affect your understanding of what it is we're trying to sort of bind to 1,933. And of course, the affect your understanding of what it is we're trying to sort of bind to 1,933. And of course, the lower side. Start by looking at the monthly. The month of July, neither did they take out the. I think it's likely not to do that. And the reason the same liquidity resting in this candle has been taken here. And the reason the same liquidity resting in this candle has been taken here for the month point and whatever buying up. And I'm liquidities and the liquidity point will the final days of the bearish. Sorry, had a break and think eyes. It's now sorted. Buy here. It's now sorted. Buy here. For this function of time. In the for Ethereum to buy before that, rules I'm just leveraging what that understood my Spartan before that. Rules I'm just leveraging what that understood my Spartan person 600 cash, zone thing is really bringing on Ethereum wine. And that is on Ethereum wine. And that is on the Ethereum market. In its is a on the Ethereum market. In its is a reflection of people's sentiment about the market. Selection of people's sentiment about the market. So of course, if I pull up the coin market cap, sentiment indicator, you'd see that we're sentiment indicator, you'd see that we're currently right. So the fear and greed index on 4, right? So the fear and greed index on 4th indecision is literally new. I've not yet done it. 10th or literally new. I've not yet done it. 10th or 17th is this which was actually just had a power restored. Interestingly, turn on or show you permit me to click turn on was going to show turn on or show you permit me to click turn on was going to show because will that through week font the trend was XRP focus. I thought it's not even assets that you believe buy. Why the XLE time frame? By the way, this is a daily valid. So let me turn. I'm gonna probably consider going to really room to think that's on my own end based off Ethereum Ethereum that really remains, which I think Ethereum that really remains, which I think that's not the truth. Is simple. This is what we think. It's what I believe, and this is what we have. Secure the capital. Outstanding reward before gossip, and or read the CRC leading pot draws delivery to its savvy had done a terrible in the market like wouldn't go below because there is short on it, right? So we'll quickly wrap up what we're just there is short on it, right? So we'll quickly wrap up what we're just this and vision. And overnight, as we're gonna probably be making a new day in our 64. This is just my and what eventually we expect from same, but this is what we're thinking. That sets us the score. So thank and. So thank and